And I am Devin Tatum, team lead.
I'm Ryan Anderson, design lead.
I'm Sean Donnell, documentation lead.
I'm Martha Guzman, quality assurance. So in our presentation, we'll be going over our problem and the solution and the goal of our application, followed by a quick overview of our project requirements, and then we're going to demonstrate our prototype testing, followed by client feedback and risk analysis.
So our client is Shane Whitcott. He's the lead personal trainer in the recreation center. And the problem he brought to us was that he wanted a way for people to track their workouts, including cardio and weightlifting, and also what they eat on a daily basis. And the solution we came up with this was a mobile app, specifically a hybrid mobile app, so that it would run on both iOS and Android. And to do this, we were using AppGyver Steroids, which is built on the PhoneGap. So why did we choose steroids? Well, we chose it for several reasons. The first reason was really that it allows us to develop for both Android and iOS. A particular problem our team had was that we all have Android phones. Our client specifically has an Apple phone, and the people who might use this app have a variety of both Android and iPhones. So we really had to appeal to really a more broader audience. And also it allows us to use a native UI features on it. So even though we are coding mainly in JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, we can still use native tabs in both Android, for example, native tabs in both Android and iOS. And it really is indistinguishable from if we were to code it natively in Objective-C or Java. And another big advantage of AppGyver Steroids is that we are able to, using their free service, deploy apps via QR code, where they post the app, and you can use the AppGyver scanner, which allows you to pull down the app from where it's hosted, because it's basically a download link, and run the app on your phone. And that's what we're going to be using for our demonstration. And this really helps us to send iterations to the client quickly. Even if we're not in a meeting, we can just send him a link and he scans it with his phone and gets immediate feedback from him. So the goal of the app really is to provide users with immediate feedback. When you're working out, you want to be able to go in afterwards and enter, I benched this much, or I did this many reps, and then right there you can see your past history on where you worked out before, how much you worked out, are you getting better, are you slacking off, maybe you missed leg day, various things like that. Same thing goes for nutrition, where you can it'll really pull back the veil on what you're eating, because it'll keep track of all this for you. So you might notice, wow, I eat a lot of fast food or a lot of Subway, and that really helps our users reach their goal, ultimately, of becoming healthier people.
So for our functional requirements, our client had two major objectives he wanted us to accomplish. The first is the ability to store fitness info, such as cardio and weightlifting. And he wanted this done as simply as possible. What he asked from us is he wanted a simple checkbox and a question next to it that asks, have you worked out today? And if you were to click on the checkbox, or in this case, tap on it, our application will reveal more questions asking about the type of workout and the total volume that the user has lifted. The application will then store this info for however long the user will use our application. And using this information, our app will create graphs and charts so the user will have a visual representation of their progress, and as well as give a personal fitness score based on how well they are progressing with their goals. The second requirement our client wanted was the ability to track nutrition. And once again, it's with a simple checkbox, have you eaten today? It will then bring up a search bar where you can input your food item, which our app will then pull from an online nutrition database, calories, proteins, fats, all that information, and it will display it on your phone. Currently, we only have calorie tracking on our phone, but we plan to implement nutritional info in a later iteration. For our last functional requirement, our client wanted a newsfeed that links from the Wellness Center's RSS, and that will be put on the landing page of our phone. So once the user opens it, that'll be the first thing they see. For our non-functional requirements, our client wanted to be as simple as possible. For ease of use and quick input, he wants us to be able to, right after you finish working out, just take out your phone, input in the data. Quick, simple, no one has to go home, be lazy, sit in front of the computer and be like, I don't want to put in the information. We also wanted to implement offline cache, so even if the phone doesn't have internet access, the user will still be able to input all their data, and once they do have internet access, it will upload to our online database. We wanted to be able to reach a broad audience, which is why we're developing for both Android and iOS. And for our last non-functional requirement, we wanted a quick response time between our Nutrition X database and our application.
Okay, at this point of the presentation, I'm going to demonstrate our application. The first step will be I'll show everyone how exactly the AppGyver is able to pull the application from the hosting server. So as you can see here, I have the QR code, and my application, AppGyver, I don't know if you can read that very well, but the middle button there says scan. So when I pull back and I press the scan button, I'm able to scan this QR code. Zoom in here. There it is. There's another one. Okay. Can you guys read that okay in the back? Alright, so the first page that gets opened up is the Rec Center's news feed, and we're going to pull this using RSS. And right now we don't have any of the backend implemented, but up top here you can see the 4 tabs. You got home, fitness, nutrition, and profile. The reason we have everything split up is because our client, one of his big requirements was that he wanted everything easy, simplifying, and so we split it up into different categories. So, as for user stories, let's pretend I just got done doing a really big workout. I did some bench press and I got a huge, a new max. So, right now I want to easily be able to enter it into the application. So I click on fitness, and it takes me to either cardio or weightlifting. We split that up because our advisor wanted it to be separate. So now you click on weightlifting, and it asks you, did you work out today? I say yes. It asks me, how long did you work out? You guys can read that a little better. Okay. So today was a really big workout. I worked out for 7 hours. Asked me what style of lift did I do. It was a bench press mostly, so pushing and upper body, that's okay. And here it asks, what was the total weight you moved? So after all my workouts, I added it up. Future, the application will do this for you after you enter in all the reps and sets and everything. But at the moment, we just asked for the total. So my total was 3 million pounds. So now when you submit that, right now it just kind of just stores everything down there at the bottom. I don't know how to get the menu off that. There you go. So yeah, you see down, it just stores everything right there. In the future, after you submit it, it's going to store it in the database, and then you will be able to, it'll provide the user with like a score and see their progression. So after that big long workout, I'm kind of starving, so I think I'm going to go eat a banana. Now I'm a little curious how many calories are in that banana. So I'm going to press the nutrition tab up here. Have I eaten today? Yes, I have. Yes, I have a wonderful banana. And there you can see it goes onto the Nutrition Next database, and it pulls just probably the first thing it finds, the first match. So there it says banana raw, 1 small, and it gives you right now just the calories. In the future, we'll be able to implement protein and just everything. And so for the last user study, just viewing the profile, and it shows you all of the information that you input when you create your profile. And that's it for the demonstration. Back to you, Ryan. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. So as for testing, we're currently doing a form of ad hoc testing. Essentially, it's what you would call we're eating our own dog, which means all the testing we do is on the application itself. So it's also, at the moment, we're kind of opening up the testing to friends and family. None of us own an iPad or an iPhone, so what we have to do is, well, over Thanksgiving, I went home and my dad has an iPad and an iPhone, so I downloaded the application using AppGuider on those. And on the iPad, I noticed that everything doesn't line up very well, so it's kind of nice to be able to go home and test on using actual iPhones and iPads. All the tests we do are just focused on trying to implement user stories and make sure everything runs okay. In the future, we're going to do more testing using Selenium because our application is coded in JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, and Selenium is perfect for our style of application. And that's it for testing, so there you go.
All right, for client feedback, the feedback from our client was generally positive. Our client's a very upbeat, happy guy. He's a fitness trainer, so he's always happy. We tried to meet with him at least once a week, but due to some scheduling conflicts and late arriving emails, we weren't able to do that. But if we missed the meeting, we try to schedule one as soon as possible after that. During the meeting agendas, the first couple of meetings, we were trying to establish exactly what functional and non-functional requirements our client wanted for us to implement and what exactly it wanted out of this application. And after that, the following meetings covered our progress with the application. We would provide paper prototypes of the application and show our client exactly what we thought he was envisioning with what he was explaining to us in the previous meetings. And he was generally happy with our paper prototypes, so we moved on to create an actual prototype as you saw on the phone. We also provided him with a long list of functional and non-functional requirements that we got out of those meetings. And once he saw those functional and non-functional requirements, he was pleased. He agreed upon those as well. In future meetings, we will be able to demonstrate the actual prototype on Android, and we can begin holding client acceptance testing. For risk mitigation, our team established certain preventative measures that we put into place to avoid future problems that have chances of occurring. We came up with a list of potential risks that we foresee could happen and general scenarios of how to avoid those risks from affecting our project. We also came up with a couple protocols that we would put in place just in case some of the risks did happen, like risks such as someone would get sick, so we'd have to cover up for the man hours. The protocol was called Man Down, Man Up protocol. We created this protocol just in case, as I said, we have to cover man hours missed or someone being sick or having to take a leave of absence, or in worst case scenario, someone has to leave school or leave the project. And the next slide is going to show a list of potential risks that we want to show you. So this is a list of potential risks that we wanted to show you. This is a small list of the risks we came up with, but these are the most important ones we thought. So yeah, loss of a group member due to illness, some emergency, whether it's temporary or permanent, we would use the Man Down, Man Up protocol. Another risk is data corruption. We would prevent that by creating up-to-date backups that we have easy access to. In case our client has to take a leave of absence, we want to be able to establish any communication outlet we can with them and make sure they are in constant communication with us. Another thing we want to avoid was if the client wants to add new features, we want to establish what the main purpose of the application was, and if we have enough time, we'd be able to implement the features you would want in the future, but if not, then we have to just stick with the main course at hand. So in conclusion, the development of this app has been generally positive so far. We have great team cohesion. We work well together. Implementing new features has become easier over time since we've gotten used to the style, we've gotten used to steroids, gotten used to each other, so we've built better team chemistry and a better ability of coding and the new languages we had to learn. We built a good foundation to build from. We have a solid UI and a good evolutionary prototype. I want to thank you guys for your time. Do you guys have any questions? Derek?
Why is this versus something like MyFitnessPal?
We're developing this application because it's really tailored towards the CWU staff, or the CWU Wellness Center faculty and staff. So we're trying to do an application that works really well with the system they already have in place. They don't have a system per se, but they have Excel documents where they have a bunch of different workouts and nutrition stuff. So we just want to make an application that kind of works with the stuff they have now, and it's just perfect for them. Yeah.
Would it be possible to make your application all offline?
Yes, it would be possible. AppDiver allows for the building of local applications. Right now, Nutritionix, what it does is it's just a JSON formatted version of the USDA database of foods, which is easier for us to parse in JavaScript. But you could also just put the Excel sheet with all the USDA nutrition facts on the phone and make it completely offline.
Derek?
So, what exactly is the process for using steroids to produce an app? Is somebody, to use your app, they're going to have the AppDiver thing involved?
Only for testing. Only if they want to get a build that we've been working on and we haven't built it to an actual application. When we deploy it, it will be on the Android store and on the Apple store. When that's done, it'll act like a normal mobile application on either platform.
The follow-up question as far as that's concerned. You have a mitigation strategy for being rejected from the Apple store?
If we're rejected, we would just install it locally, because we don't necessarily need to be on the store to install it on our client's iPhone or iPad.
You manage web safety measures as someone entered, for example, food that was not in your database?
Currently, it just finds the nearest match on the database, but if it doesn't have it, then I suppose.
Yeah, at the moment, as a joke, I entered cat, and the first thing I returned was queso cat, and it gave the calories for that. So it pretty much just returns whatever like the first match is. We will be able to kind of implement like a way to parse it and be like, oh, that's not what you're talking about, so we aren't going to show you that one. So, Dr. Swing?
So, I want to understand, do you track nutritional information for a person?
Yes.
Where?
At the moment, we don't, but we will store all that information into a database. We'll talk more about database.
Yeah, so currently, when the nutrition information is pulled, it's pulled per person. We haven't implemented logins yet, but right now it's just one profile, and when we pull the nutrition information, it stores it in a JSON string on the phone. And each pull, it just stores that until it gets to a certain size, and right now we just delete it. When we have profiles done, we'll store that on the phone per person, and then sync that with a remote database, because an optional feature that we've talked with our client, but it's not a requirement, is for him to be able to pull nutrition information for certain personal training clients that he has.
Derek?
So how would you handle the user authentication?
Username and password. We haven't looked into
created a login page yet or a registration page.
So if you can't put this on one of the Apple stores, and you said something about just installing it on your client's phone, so this is for one person, one phone?
Well, they showed us they had like multiple like iPads that I think the trainers use, and I think the trainers generally would want. I think we would generally put it on those iPads they have in the wellness center.
So this isn't for people coming in to use the facility, this is just for the trainers?
Yes.
Yeah, this is, at the moment, this is just for the staff and faculty. In the future, they may want to kind of allow anyone to be able to download it, but just for the moment, it's only for the staff and faculty.